Just do it. Try. Okay. Even when we're celebrating a recently departed actor, I think that we've all been affected by.
Yeah, this doesn't feel right knowing that James Earl Jones is gone, and watching The Lion King now hits much differently now. I mean, when he says, "Look at the stars, the great kings are up there watching over us, and so will I." It hits much differently now. Now that he's actually dead.
Yeah, I did. Looking back, I forgot how much other roles he had been in.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, he was in Field of Dreams. He was in The Sandlot. He was in the Star Wars movies. He
He was in
was.
my yeah. He was in my favorite show of the 2000s called Everwood, starring. He was the piano teacher of the main of the protagonist.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been in quite a bit of stuff. And hey, Daniel, how's it going? But yeah,
Oh, I think he's also in The Simpsons.
excuse me. Yeah. I believe that you're talking about the episode like where he plays Mufasa, and he plays Darth Vader. It's that part like where they parody that famous scene in the Lion King. There.
Yeah, was he the jazz musician saxophone player too that taught Lisa, or is that somebody else?
That's a good question. I'm gonna look that up now. It could have been. I don't know.
Looks like you're tired too.
I am. Yeah.
So, what was your what was your first uh, introduction to him?
Definitely the Lion King. But yeah, and then afterwards, I then saw the 1997 re-releases of the original Star Wars trilogy on VHS, and yeah, and then it was The Sandlot. But yeah, what about you? Oh yeah, so to answer your question, James Earl Jones was in an episode of Treehouse of Horror in The Simpsons. What else was he in? All right, he died in New York City. Okay. All right, he played. Wait, he did Maggie Simpson once?
Yeah, in the treehouse.
Interesting. Yeah, he was Moving Man, Surak the Preparer, the Raven narrator, the Bus narrator. Excuse me. So yeah, I not here. I'm gonna look him up on Wikipedia now.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
real shame.
I can't remember if Mufasa or I saw Mufasa or Vader first. I think I saw Vader first. It's funny with him.
Hard to pick.
We had the he was the original voice actor for Vader. They dubbed over the lines for his voice.
Yeah, cause it actually was David Prowse, like who was in the Darth Vader suit on set, and originally they were going to use his voice, but his voice just wasn't intimidating enough, and then they were like, well, we need to dub this voice because it's just not intimidating enough. And then, yeah, they found James Earl Jones, who was an unknown at that time. And, excuse me. Yeah, and then I don't know who was the one who found James Earl Jones, but they definitely made the right choice to dub over his voice with James Earl Jones because, yeah, James Earl Jones, like, he's what made Darth Vader work. I mean, it wouldn't have been the same at all if they didn't use James Earl Jones' voice. And yeah, James Earl Jones. Excuse me. He was paid only $7,000. I mean, granted, you have to take into account inflation as well. But yeah,
Yeah, I heard that. I might remember that he signed something that people can't use his voice after he dies.
Well, from my understanding, James Earl Jones gave Disney permission to to recreate his voice for Darth Vader, but they're going to use artificial intelligence because that would be a lot easier than to find somebody who sounds like James Earl Jones, because that's not as easy as it sounds to find somebody who sounds like James Earl Jones. So that's what happened.
Oh, I thought it was the opposite. I thought I thought they couldn't use his voice. They couldn't AI.
No. Yeah. So there was an article about that like 2 years ago, and James Earl Jones had to have done that because he knew that his time was coming soon. And yeah, and I mean, it's a real shame that he didn't live for 100 years. But I mean, hey, he got pretty darn close.
Yeah. So then what does it matter since it's a younger version of him anyways? So, but he wouldn't be in the upcoming Mufasa movie unless they record his lines already for it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like you said, it's a younger version of Mufasa anyway. And yeah, and while it was great to have James Earl Jones back in the Lion King remake, you can tell that his voice has aged. You really can tell when you watch it. But hey,
I wonder if he liked the remake as much as you liked the remake.
Well, I don't know if anybody ever asked him, but even though the remake wasn't that very good, at least he got to be Mufasa one last time.
Was he the only?
It just wouldn't have been the same if they didn't have James Earl Jones again.
Was he the only one that did the character voice?
Yes. Out of all of the actors from the original movie, he was the only one to have reprised his role. But yeah, as Nathan Lane said, like when he was interviewed about it, he said, yeah, in show business, everyone is replaceable but James Earl Jones.
So, yeah, I did. Yeah, looking back, I forgot he was in I forgot he was in the Sandlot. That was it.
He was, yes. He was the one who played Mr. Myrtle, and he also was in the Sandlot 2, but he was not in the Sandlot 3.
I know that it was a Sandlot 3.
Well, not that many people do.
Yeah, he was the old man whose dog kept all the balls once they got over.
Yeah. And then all of the kids believed that exaggerated rumor about his dog, but ended up not being true. But yeah, that's something that I can actually see happening. Like, kids believing this exaggerated thing, but it's not true at all. But hey, I think that that's part of the appeal factor to the Sandlot.
Yeah. See, what was his role in The Field of Dreams?
That's a good question. Oh, excuse me. Looking up his filmography now. Let's see. But yeah, he had quite the career. Okay, so I'm not seeing. All right, it says he was in 3 episodes. Not seeing anything about him being Darth Vader and Mufasa in that episodes, or that one other guy. So I'm going to infer that that wasn't him.
Okay.
As interesting as that is.
Oh, he was in The Big Bang Theory.
Yes, he was, and yeah, that episode was hilarious. And yeah, and that right there shows James Earl Jones has a pretty good sense of humor.
Oh, I don't know if he was young then, but I can't believe he Carrie Fisher beat him to the grave.
Yep. And yeah, and
Oh, alternate name James Earl Boggins Jones.
never heard that one. But yeah, crazy to think most of the people from the original Star Wars have passed on. The only one still alive, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill. But Harrison Ford's starting to get pretty up there in years. I mean, Harrison Ford is now in his 80s.
Yeah, he he's gonna be playing it can be in a Marvel movie next year.
Yeah, I believe he's going to be Red Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he's the guy that used to chase Bruce Banner around. Ross. Oh.
All right, so in Field of Dreams, he was Terrence Mann.
Listen, I knew who that was. If I remember, if I watched that movie, it's been forever.
Yeah, and he had a Naked Gun in the third Naked Gun. Wow, I mean, he's had quite the career, and he was in Judge Dredd, and he also even was in Click with Adam Sandler. Yeah, he was in Fantasia 2000. He even was in the Bench Warmers. Scary Movie 4.
Hey, so hey Nate, hey guys. So what was your favorite? And you in chat, what was your favorite James Earl Jones, either acting moment or voice acting? That voice acting, besides the Simpsons and the uh, Star Wars, oh, and obviously, was he more of a voice actor or more of a person actor or both?
He was both. And according to Wikipedia, Coming to America was his very last film. Starring Eddie Murphy.
He also did some theater work.
He did.
Have you done any voice acting yet? Or are you just mainly on the stage and the stage and screen?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I was the voice of the CD in my previous 2 movies, and yeah, and let's see. But yeah, gotta be Vader. But he was good in the Tom Clancy movies. I had no idea that he was in that. But yeah, I mean, he definitely kept himself busy. But
Speaking
yeah,
of,
but yeah. Although theater acting and movie acting are different, I mean, it is still acting, and I definitely recommend any actor to do both, if they can.
Have you done both? Have you done both?
Yes, I have. And yeah, and but yeah, but yeah, and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker was his last time ever being his iconic voice as Darth Vader, and he also was in Rogue One, which I mean, it's great that he got to be in Rogue One. And even though Rise of Skywalker, in my opinion, wasn't the greatest Star Wars movie ever made, it felt underwhelming to have that be the final movie. Well, the final movie in the saga, but
Yeah, it's speaking of that, it's too bad his only line in the prequel was that infamous no line.
no, yeah, like that was so underwhelming. Like we waited all that time to see James Earl Jones come back as Darth Vader, knowing that they paid him all that money and that James Earl Jones traveled to that sound booth only just for him to say no. But yeah, that was so underwhelming. It's like, what's even the point?
Mm. At least that was the best of the prequel movies, in my opinion, at least.
I definitely do agree. Episode 1 was, I mean, Darth Maul was cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was just mostly political talk. And episode 2, the acting was so monotone. I mean, Count Dooku was cool. But episode 3, it is the best of the prequel movies. Still not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, in your own opinion, of all the sequel trilogy movies, what one did you think was the best one?
I would have to say 7.
I would agree. While it's not the most original,
Yeah, that's
I mean, it pretty much was just a remake of episode 4. But out of all of the sequel trilogy movies, it definitely was the most entertaining.
and I just say, at least in my opinion, had the best. Even though it was a repeat story, it was saying something. It had the best story. I really like the story of that much of 8 and 9.
Oh,
That's my
certainly.
opinion.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Like there was all that build up in episode 7, and then all of it was just tossed right out the window. Like there was all that build up, like to Snoke, and then they just killed him off. So it's like great. So he's just a no name villain, and yeah, it's like what was the point?
The point was to bring Palpatine back for no build up to it at all. This
Oh my god, that was so. Yeah, like even Ian McKellen, or I believe his name was, like, who plays Palpatine in the movie.
Ian McDermott.
Oh yeah, Ian McDermott. Yeah, yeah. Even he was like, I thought my character died, and yeah, it's like that ruins Darth Vader's character arc in the original trilogy, and so
Not,
it was
yeah, not even arcs alone. That thing, but also there was no clues at all that he was coming out. Be like, oh, he's back. Nice movie. He's just back.
Yeah, like there was no build up to it. It's like, okay, he's just back without any explanation.
Oh, by the way, he's this new character's grandfather.
Yeah. And it felt so shoehorned in because there was no build up to his comeback.
I know what's this creepier, really. Him having grandkids, or that them giving Voldemort a kid or daughter in that Harry Potter play that they made.
Yeah. Are you talking about the one that's based off of the Cursed Child?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm really surprised that they haven't turned that into a movie yet.
I'm glad they haven't. Stupid storylines. No stupid storyline.
Well, and I mean, I totally do understand that from the creative viewpoint. I'm just saying from the economic
Yeah,
point, it would make money.
I think people might do just what's it called, hate watching.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of roles, I hear you're our Lord and Savior now.
Yeah.
You talk about that at all?
A little bit, but yeah, it's based off of a book called Jesus at 29. And yeah, I never thought I ever would be playing that role, but I met the right person, and yeah, from what I was told, having this long hair and the facial hair definitely helped. But yeah, I mean, as far as I know, they're looking for investors and they want me. And yeah, I'm like, okay, I
Oh, so
will take that.
so it's a not like a based on the Bible or anything. It's a
No,
different story.
no. It's based off of a book called Jesus at 29.
Okay, it's like I was like you're playing him back in that day. That's okay. I
But
thought,
yeah, it's interesting. Never. But yeah, it's ironic because originally my mom was against me growing out my hair to this length, but then she was like, "Eric, you're a grown ass adult." But my long hair, I guess, opened up some doors for me, which is ironic since that James Earl Jones actually did narrate not the Old Testament, but he did narrate the New Testament.
I think my mom might have. I can't remember. I think my mom might have had cassette tapes of him doing the Bible back in the day.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That sounds awesome. James Earl Jones narrating that. I mean, it's a shame that it's only the New Testament. It would have been cool if it was both the Old Testament and the New Testament. But, I guess James Earl Jones just that was just part of his contract, or maybe that's all he had for availability. I mean, James Earl Jones, he he definitely did narrate a lot of books, and yeah, and it's cool knowing that he got to narrate the Bible because I mean, James Earl Jones as the voice of God, I can see it. Yeah, and what I think would have been ironic, Jeremy Irons also has a pretty compelling voice too. So imagine if they got James Earl Jones as God and Jeremy Irons as Satan. Which is ironic since that Jeremy Irons was the bad guy in the Lion King.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah. I don't know if I don't know if it's gonna go down as one of the most best voice actors, probably, but definitely one of the most famous voice actors of all time, at least of our generation.
Right.
I can't think of anything to talk. I guess this is
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
episode. I can't think of anything else to talk about James Earl Jones.
But yeah, the Sandlot. But yeah, did you watch the Sandlot back when you were a kid?
Yeah, 90s. Yeah, I don't know if I saw it in the theaters or at the VHS afterwards, but I definitely remember watching it.
Yeah, I had it on VHS back when I was a kid, and I watched it so much. I mean,
Yeah, not James Earl Jones moment, but obviously I love it. It's just a baseball signed by someone named Babe Ruth. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, nobody knows who Babe Ruth is.
So so Vader was his first role ever.
No, 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 no. It was not his first role. He also did The Exorcist 2 the exact same year
Oh,
as the original Star Wars. But yeah, he's done so many roles. It's just like it's Darth Vader and Mufasa and the Sandlot and Field of Dreams is what seems to me his most famous roles.
yeah. So in your fourth movie, you're gonna do like a tribute to him, voice act.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, Mecha G Zero, who's the one of the voice of the villain in my third movie. He was going to come back for the fourth movie, but now that's obviously not going to happen. So, you know, it sucks, but the show must go on. Hey, Tony Montana, how's it going? But yeah, just doing this. I know I already did my stream about James Earl Jones, and so
Tony, what was your favorite James Earl Jones role that he was in? Hmm. So, Wayne, how's the editing coming for your third movie coming?
it's been a pain. Zach D Productions was going to edit it, but he doesn't have time. So I'm thinking that there's been too many editing issues on my computer. So Dylan from the 406 Boys, I think, is going to edit the movie now. I mean, do what you got to do, but yeah, just making this third movie. But yeah, I mean, at this point, whatever's going to get the film made.
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost done, but yeah, it's just this has been the hardest movie I have made yet. But yeah, this is not about me. It's about, but yeah, interesting to note. James Earl Jones was not the first choice to voice Mufasa. Did you know who the original choice was?
Who?
Sean Connery.
James Bond as
As
Mufasa.
Simba, you must take your place in the great circle of life.
Yeah, I saw. Speaking of that, oh, not James, but I saw this. All these tribute things coming on about him now. That was funny one where this guy was like, "So Simba and Luke are brothers."
But yeah, I mean, people usually say Darth Vader and Mufasa were their favorite James Earl Jones role. But yeah, I mean,
Hopefully, when it's all said and done, I'll say you, you, you might be in 20, 30, 40 years, or 80 years, how long you're going to live for, you'll be remembered. You might be remembered, I don't say as fondly, but people are like, let's, like, what are the voices that Eric voiced in his career?
yeah, I mean, just gotta see, I suppose. But yeah, both of us seem pretty tired, and
Yeah. So sorry all for the short episode today. That's happens sometimes, but
yeah, What I do find inspiring about James Earl Jones is that James Earl Jones also had a speech impediment, and yet it's his voice that he was most famous for. So I mean, you gotta admit that's pretty inspiring.
So what's coming up on your channel that you know of that you're going to be doing?
Some more episodes of Sit Down by the Fire. Let's watch a movie, and gonna get the third movie done.
So has all those problems soured you from finishing the fourth movie? Or are you still forward to making it?
Looking forward to making it, but one step at a time.
Yeah. As for me, obviously, on my channel coming up, besides possible game videos, this I don't know if you'll be joining us, but this Wednesday, Jillian and Stick will be joining me for a look at all the Pixar movies.
Awesome.
And then next Wednesday, I will be talking about phylogenetic clades with Aaron Raw.
Oh, so wait, so Aaron Raw is gonna come onto your channel?
Yeah, about a week and a half from now, on the 25th.
Wow. Did you get a hold of him on Facebook?
Twitter.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna look forward to seeing that. But yeah, Aaron Raw, I absolutely love to watch his debates. I mean, regardless what side that you are on, he is entertaining. He's so entertaining, and yeah, and I even remember during one of my acting classes that I took this year, they said that they wanted us to base it off of somebody who we know. A lot of the people who I know in my personal life are too monotone, so I thought of Aaron Raw, who I like to act out as in one of my acting classes, and yeah, and I will never forget like the reaction that I had acting out as Aaron Raw, arguing with people. My acting teacher said, "Oh my gosh, I actually feel like I'm getting yelled at." But yeah, that definitely was a lot of fun. And yeah, and I can't help but wonder how would Aaron Raw feel about that, knowing that I picked him like to act out as in one of my acting classes.
Well, you can ask him in the live chat if you're free that Wednesday evening.
Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. I will look forward to that.
All right. Well, thanks you all for watching. Hope to see you next two Wednesdays. You all 2 Wednesdays. One for fantasy, one for reality. So
And remember, we're all connected in the great circle of life.
And I am not your father. Hey, yeah. I think a lot of people. I heard a lot of people get that line wrong.
Yeah, like everyone thinks it's Luke, I am your father, when no, it's no, I am your father. Everyone always gets that wrong.
Yep.
But yeah, that's one of the most famous lines in movie history, and everybody gets it wrong. It's also, but yeah, Tony Montana. According to my research, Sean Connery was the original choice.
I'll to see you all then, and always remember, never stop learning and enjoy the randomness. I'll see y'all next time.